Hello everyone, welcome back to Blabbing with Booksellers, a Waterstones Brighton podcast. I promised you some really interesting guests along the way. We've had booksellers and authors, and today I'm really fortunate to be sat in the kitchen of Fatboy Slim himself, Norman Cook. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course.
And, I'm not used to moving in literary circles. So,
Yeah.
When you said we've had playwrights and authors and everything, and I'm the other end of the spectrum.
No, fantastic. But I think that's why, it's partly why I love working in that bookshop as much, because we wrap a bit of everything. And as we may discover, this is going to be about you, but I come from an artistic background. Right. Music is a huge source of inspiration to me. So that biography section, it gets a lot of visits from me.
Cool, yeah.
So I was really pleased to pick up your new book, It Ain't Over Till The Fatboy Sings. And as we just discussed before recording, you've gone a different route. It's not a literary biography, and you've gone more of a kind of scrapbook kind of way. Loads of pictures and images from throughout the years. Why that format for you? Why did that work for you over a traditional biography?
Well, basically, over the years I have been asked to do an autobiography a couple of times, and I just shied away from it. I don't feel like, I think it'd be arrogant to think I've lived a life worth writing a book about.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And secondly, I'm not much of a writer any more than I am a reader.
Right.
So for those two reasons, I was thinking it would take ages, but I just wasn't sure that it would be entertaining enough.
Yeah, fair.
So I'd sort of park that one.
Yeah.
Quite a few times to different people. But
it was people approaching you rather than you inviting to do it.
Yeah, people coming and saying, would you write as a book? We'll give you X amount of money and we'll get someone to help you write it and all this. And I'm like, no, it's just, I really don't, I'm just not interested in it.
Yeah.
But then I came upon the realisation that last year was going to be my 40th year in showbiz. Wow. 40 years since I quit my day job, Rounder Records, and ran off to join the circus.
Amazing.
And thought I should mark that in some way. So I was thinking, should I throw a party for all the people I've worked with over the years? But I just had my 60th, which had been pretty much the same thing. Everybody from every band I've ever been in with. And so then, do I do a big gig? And then obviously I'm always doing big gigs, and it's like that wouldn't have fitted into the schedule. Yeah. And so I was just thinking, what do I do? And then literally at that moment, a friend of mine, who's a graphic designer, said, I've just been approached by a coffee table book publisher, and they want you to do a coffee table book. Right. And then it's just immediately I could picture the coffee table book.
Just see it.
And they're the kind of books that I'm more likely to read. I like art and music and things like that. And I said, interesting. And then they gave me a book, and it was beautifully bound. It was history of punk flyers. Amazing. From 1979 to 1981. Right. Really niche, but really me.
Totally.
But it was done out beautifully. It came in a little presentation box. Right. And I was thinking it's not a literary thing. It's a cultural, artistic thing. Yeah. So it's more of a scrapbook and art book rather than me, talking about where I went to school, what the teachers are like. And,
I mean, you literally open the book, I think, by saying, I've picked the bits I hope you'll find interesting. Yeah. Rather than it being from the start to the end.
But also just that there's very little of me in there. Yeah. If you see, I mean, it's like my professional life, not my relationship with my mother.
Absolutely.
You sort of read autobiographies where the first 4 or 5 chapters are
psychological deep dive.
And it's like, sometimes they're really interesting. A lot of the times, not so much. Recently, there was a Beastie Boys book. Yes. That came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it?
All the little details. And so I met the publishers and I said, I'd love to do that, but could it be really deep? And they said, that's what we love. Amazing. And more behind the scenes things. Have you got lots of stuff? And I said, I've got like 5 boxes full of every flyer, memory, backstage pass.
So that was one of my questions, because this book is so populated with all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you say, backstage.
But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, that was the best bit.
What made you hold on to that? Are you a kind of sentimental person that attaches to those things, or did you keep them to one day kind of do something like this? What was the thought?
I'm not sentimental, but I'm definitely a collector, a hoarder.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but also I'm a music fan. So from day one, I kept every ticket stub of every gig I've been to.
Amazing.
I kept every backstage pass of every gig I played. Yeah. And they were all there. And I suppose at some point in my career, I was like, well, maybe one day this could make a book, So there was not a sentimentality, but there was an idea that one day this might be of value or of interest. But in the same way that I mean, all my old technology.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you keep
every
it all?
Walkman, every
Do you know what?
VHS player. I've still got
a lot of my stuff as well. I don't know I don't know about you, but for me, keeping all that stuff, it's about like it brings back the moment in which I engaged with the thing. So I still have my tape player because I when I see it at my parents' place, it engages me in.
So it triggers emotions.
Yeah, it triggers. I used to sit in this room and listen. I remember putting this cassette in and
you see, for me, it's just like. Say a Walkman, it's like if I just chuck this away, it never exists. But if you've got the room to keep it, I can imagine if you live in a small flat. Yeah. If you've got the room to keep it, why don't you just put it in a box? And in 20 years' time, at least it can be like a prop in a play.
Totally.
You know, when they go, we need a.
Do you ever find a reason to use it musically? I mean, in recording, do you have all this old kit you've got?
Well, I always did it with music.
With
music stuff, and then because I kept my 808, my 909, and my 303. These are now really sought after.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, not every single thing that I kept, but if you're a hoarder with some kind of purpose, but it's not so much sentimentality. It's just like one day this will be a museum piece, and it's like if I can preserve it, and keep it. So everything from my career just went in these boxes,
right?
But it stayed there, some of it for 40 years. That one day it would be needed, and so it's great. So doing the book, I just got everything out.
So how was that then? Because you're digging up stuff you've not looked at for decades.
Well, that did actually trigger. That's when the sentimentality. Sure. Because when I look back at things that were a long time ago, or that I've forgotten, obviously big swathes of the 90s. I was kind of
can't imagine why.
Yeah, can't imagine why. But I've forgotten an awful lot of what had happened. So, but it was the first time in my career I've allowed myself to look back.
Yeah.
My whole career, I've always never dwelled on what I did before. It's just like, what can I do next? What's about? And there was never any plan to it. It was just following my nose. But if you're following your nose, you've always got to be looking in the direction roughly that you want to be going in.
And do you think
so? I never look back.
Do you think it's that as well that contributes? Because like, if you have a reputation outside of your stage persona, it's that you're really grounded. And do you think it's that kind of mentality that helps you stay that way? Like looking forward rather than dwelling on what you've done and the successes and is it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that has any correlation to the groundedness.
Yeah.
The groundedness basically comes from my two biggest influences on my life were Paul Heaton.
Yeah.
At the start of our careers together, he was like, "We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't act like pop stars.
Right?
Don't dress up in stupid clothes.
Yeah.
All that, and then Zoe, my wife, she was my fame guru.
Yeah,
because she'd been more famous than me.
Right.
And then when I hit that sort of tabloid, fame thing, she taught me through that. So they were my sort of two great teachers in how to be grounded in being a musician and how to be grounded in being a celebrity.
Totally.
So I think they're I think I kind of learnt so much and still respect what they taught me.
Yeah, of course. So like in terms of, again, going back to those items you were digging out, is there anything that didn't feature in this book that you were trying to cling on to put in there? Or is there anything that is in there that stirred up particular feelings or...
No, not really. It was just sort of memories of people and places and things.
Yeah.
And then those bits that I was. There was one point where the publisher said, "Do you really want to put the dildo in?"
Right.
And I'm like, that's a deal breaker.
Totally.
It's one of my greatest achievements in cultural life.
Absolutely. That's what you're known for over everything else.
Not many people have a dildo named after them. That one's got to be in.
Absolutely.
And they were like, okay. And funny, the only thing we really thought about was whether the sticker on the front was a real sticker.
Oh, interesting. Right,
because originally, it was like, I think there's somebody... Keith, who did the book with me, he'd done a book before where they had a sticker on.
Right.
And that was a reference point. We told him that. But then when it's mocked up, it was always that. And then we're like, that will be a real sticker. It won't be printed on. And they're like, And we're like, no, you promised it would be a really nice collection edition.
It genuinely adds to the vibe of the cover, doesn't it?
For me, it was really important that was a real sticker.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing we thought about was the tattoo page.
Yeah, right.
Which they kept saying, I don't want to do that.
Oh, interesting.
I was just like, I think it's a nice thing, and it brings it up to date.
Absolutely,
because tattoo of the week is an ongoing thing on my Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
And it draws people in, you know, and people who are fans.
Yeah.
Enough to get a tattoo of me are probably going to want to. They're going to enjoy being, you know, having a nod in the book.
And you go into that as well from what I read, where it's like you kind of thrive on the connection you make with audiences when you're playing.
Yeah.
And it's less about then kind of the stage you're on or the environment you're in. It's more about connecting with the people.
That's what my love of music is. It's connecting with people. From discovering the power of it during long car rides when my family would all be round, I'd be fighting with my brother and my dad would be fighting with my mum. And then a song would come on and we all liked it and we'd stop fighting and we'd all sing and my parents could sing in harmony.
Yeah.
And this little Ford Prefect would be filled
it's transformative, isn't it?
Yeah, we're filled with this power and we stopped fighting and we were all united for that moment. And that is the power of music. So it's always been for me, it's about connection. It's about making a piece or listening to somebody else's music and thinking, oh my God, I had that emotion. There'd just be one line where it's like, oh my God, you felt that too.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Happy or sad.
Absolutely.
And all the gamut of human relationships. So, and then music bringing us together, you know, it's quite a tribal thing. It's like from, you know, when I was a punk rocker, it's like sing another punk rocker, they're instantly your brother, you know, and you were like, had the same experience of being laughed at by your school friends, beaten up by teddy boys. You know, it's like we are brothers. We connect over music, and it happens in a certain form in all kinds of music. It's just, it brings people together, and for me that's such a powerful thing, and that's the reason why I've carried on doing it, even when I wasn't that successful. It's like, what else am I going to do? The only thing other thing was being a fireman. The only thing that there was a point in my career when I had to explore that I might have to get a proper job.
Yeah. Worked out all right, I think.
Yeah. Well, there was one PPL check that paid off my tax bill and got my accountant and my wife off me to go out and get a proper job. But that was the only other thing where I thought it sort of really connects people because everyone loves farming. There can't be any politics in it. It's like they are there to put out the fire if your house is on fire, and they're heroes, and and there's that connection, you know.
Absolutely.
Once you've been carried out by a burning building by a sort of hunky guy with rubber trousers on, it's like you're never going to forget.
That's it, done. Yeah.
So it's that. I just really enjoy being in a situation where you're connecting people and you're in the middle of this big celebration of humanity and life and all the good things about being a human being.
Is there a particular part of your career, or not to name a gig, your best gig or anything, but is there a particular part of your career where you felt like you had the most kind of command over that, where you felt like you were most able to connect with people, where you were having that impact that you thrive on?
I curate a festival called All Back to Minehead, which is at Butlins in Minehead in November, where we get 5,000 like-minded people from all different walks of life, all ages. Yeah. But they all share my love of music and my sense of humour.
Amazing.
And hopefully my sense of humanity.
Yeah.
And that, when we first did it, I really wasn't sure. My management thought it'd be a fun thing to do. But you put those people in a situation, and it's a bit like Glastonbury. I mean, Glastonbury's probably quite cool. Where you just get like-minded people that they're all interested in having a great time and getting off their nuts, but they're also interested in looking after each other.
And of course, that community thing.
Community. Yeah. And we've got this weird community that exists for one weekend of the year in an off-season holiday camp. Yeah. But it's really powerful. Yeah. It's really powerful.
Absolutely.
And what the feeling, and they all get it. And I was like, within 6 hours, it's like, man, this doesn't feel like anywhere else, you know.
Nice.
Everybody's, and then the bouncers, the security started saying, "You're lot, they're really funny." So everybody's really happy.
Yeah.
I was like,
weird that, isn't it?
And they said, and they drink a lot. They're all off their nuts, but they don't fight.
Amazing.
And I was like, and they went, most people when they drink, they fight.
Often not if there's music though.
I've managed to find 5,000 people, all that are like-minded, and and then they've got their own little Facebook group where they carry it on over the year.
Absolutely.
And there's this little sort of cult thing.
Yeah,
that's the closest I come to, or a good Glastonbury, a good rainy Glastonbury. Yeah. Where everybody has to look out for each other. And
absolutely,
everybody's lending each other their wellies, you know, because you have to, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And that, so Butlins in Minehead on a particular weekend in November.
There you go.
Or Glastonbury Festival, the closest I've felt to that kind of utopian society based around music.
Do you ever find some venues, because you played the biggest event, I mean, you just played Wembley, right, a couple of weeks ago, was it?
Yeah.
Do you ever find there's a venue so big that connection kind of gets lost because of the size? Or is Wembley, for instance, just special because it's Wembley?
Actually, the more of you are, the more powerful it becomes.
Yeah.
The more of you are, the more... If you're looking for a sense of validation, that everybody else around you feels the same way, the more of them there are, the more that feeling of validation, and the more you can immerse yourself in it. Yeah. No, it's quite weird because I did Wembley Stadium, and for the first time in my career,
amazing.
But it was like a Capital Radio fun day.
Yeah, right.
And I'm there with Take That, and all these sort of like really pop acts, and very, very young crowd.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't sure how it would go.
Okay.
But I looked out. And it's like, why do I recognise this view? It's like, from every documentary about Live Aid, this is basically
this is it.
I was like, oh my God, this is my Live Aid.
Because you played Freddie's vocals, didn't you?
Well, by accident, I happened to start with Freddie's vocal, and everybody.
Was that an accident?
It was. It's my most accessible crowd bringing start. So if I'm doing a show, it's for the shows where it's like I need to win them from the off.
Yeah, and Freddie and Wembley is about as much of a...
But a crowd, there's nothing like a crowd sing-along. Yeah. So from the minute that I dropped it out and they sung "Don't Stop Me Now," I was
amazing.
Thinking, we could have some fun with this. Totally. It doesn't matter that half of them don't. The younger ones never heard of me because their mums are going, "Oh,
right."
But it's an exercise of that sense of community, a sense of belonging and togetherness and connection that music can do. The bigger the venue, the better.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and again, through your book, you kind of chart gigs through the years where you felt that connection. One thing I wanted to ask you was about how those gigs have changed, because obviously with the advent of smartphones and torches up and stuff, does that damage your connection with a crowd? Or is it just a different connection that you've learned to appreciate?
It's a different connection, but I think it's a damaged, slightly faulty connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, when everybody's got their phones up, you don't feel that, the people... I mean, my most obvious example is there's a bit in the show where I get everybody to sit down. Yeah. And every time I do it, there's always one guy who's standing there with his phone, and I'm like, sit down. He's like, I'm filming you.
He's getting the shot, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm filming you going like that. It's like, no, honestly, sit down. And it's like, no, but I'm filming you. It's like, you don't realise, because you're looking at me, you don't realise everybody, you are the knobhead who hasn't sat down.
But that's the connection for that person at least ruined, right? And then...
well, I'm trying to say for your own good, mate, you really need to look around you and see what's going on, because this is quite funny.
Yeah.
There's
absolutely
2,000 people around you are all sitting down, and everybody's like their hips are going. People like that. It's really funny, and you're just standing there like that, and they're all laughing at you. Yeah. So that's the most obvious thing of the disconnection. Being on your phone, but no, I mean
there's no frustration as a performer that comes to you with that?
I hang on to the positives, which are when they film it, then they show it to all their mates, and all their mates go, "Oh, actually, that looks like
I should go."
Mad. Yeah, well, it's like I didn't realise it was like that, or that's quite impressive. The stage show, obviously, you can't really film the feeling of connection.
Absolutely, you can't capture the sound either.
It's not very Instagram friendly, but I suppose it gets the word around, because I don't have. Before smartphones and everything, I would play gigs and people would be like, where's the band? Yeah. I came to see Fatboy Slim. It's like,
where are the other ones?
Band playing Rockefeller Skate. It's like, no, I'm just a DJ. And it's like, so they did, especially in America, there used to be that kind of like, and it's like, can we impress people? This is a DJ show. And it's like, get your heads around that there isn't a band.
Totally.
But nowadays, everybody would have seen films of the gig. So it helps spread the word, but on the night, yes, it does. Yeah. It kills the feeling of... Well, it doesn't kill. It distorts the feeling.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to be honest, I'm an avid gig goer. Me and my wife adore music, and live music in particular. And we went to Jack White a couple of years ago, and he famously doesn't allow phones in his gig. And we were just curious to see what kind of shift that would make. And it felt communal. Everyone clicked, and we were dancing with strangers in a way that we just don't at gigs unless...
Yeah, I mean, even if you're all connected by moaning about the fact that you couldn't find each other because he'd taken your phones away.
Yeah, totally.
That that gives you a,
but it was just
the greatest sense of community comes out of a shared adversity.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. But anyway, another thing I really loved in your book, which is something I really kind of associate you with when I first got into your music as Fatboy Slim coming through, was your music videos. And obviously because of the way we now consume music, I've gone, in my mentality, for going, I have to see what the music video is for this song. And that was as exciting as a song being released. And I remember yours was like Weapon of Choice and seeing that on MTV for the first time. Now people don't necessarily associate music videos with a song being released. How's that art form changed, and how has the way you use that medium changed? Is it something you still put focus on as much, or...?
No, well, it doesn't really matter so much because I don't really release music anymore. If I was putting more music out, I'd probably have to think about it a bit more. Before I had my head in the sand. I tried not to make videos, but then I found a director, Spike Jones, who completely turned on its head the way you make videos, which is like, they don't have to be high production values. Absolutely. They don't have to make you look really sexy.
Yeah.
You don't have to even be in them. They just have to be a funny piece of film that makes people smile, and it can be mischievous. It can be just surreal.
Just has to serve the song, right? Like,
but it can make the song come alive in that. I mean, I love film, and I love the way that a soundtrack of a film can increase your emotions. Again, it's that sort of shared emotional thing.
Yeah.
But I love the way that music can help in storytelling, and that you can. There can be a scene of a film that you could never see again without the music, and every time you hear the music in the radio, you put yourself straight back in the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had that the other day. I heard this Radiohead song, and I'm like, it wasn't one I knew that well, but it had been in a film that I'd watched recently that was really good.
Yeah.
And it was a really beautiful montage over that, and it took me straight back to the emotions of that montage.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I love that, and I love mixing the two together. You have a great film and a great soundtrack.
Absolutely,
that's just like a higher pinnacle than one of those two on their own.
Yeah.
But at the other end of the spectrum, there you've got TikToks.
Yeah.
I'm very aware that, I mean, for me, Praise You is like kind of the original viral.
Yeah, totally.
It was like homemade guerrilla film that didn't take itself too seriously.
I wholeheartedly believe that they were a community dance troupe for the longest time. I didn't have a clue for literally about 15 years. And I was like, I now recognise who that is. I feel foolish, but yeah. But it was just joyous, right? That video
it was just joyous and deliberately stupid just to entertain you. But also really cheap.
Yeah. Of course, and it's one of those things, because I remember MTV would do 100 greatest videos of all time, and that was consistently at the top of their list.
Which is really funny, because they rejected it.
Did
when we first gave it to MTV,
wow.
They rejected it, and they said they said you're taking the piss, basically, and the production values aren't up to MTV standards. So for about 2 weeks they didn't show it. And then VH1 showed it, and then VH1 viewers voted it top video, and then
suddenly,
okay, I will start that.
Totally.
But I think that was less of the glossy 80s pop videos that we were used to.
Yeah.
And the beginning of virals, where
absolutely,
people just do
something
on a shoestring, but that's a funny idea.
Totally.
And I think that's way more important.
Yeah.
And so I suppose, but then, I mean, I had that the last time I put a record out. It's like, what should we do? It's like, it'd be really good to do something, guerrilla based, but it's like everybody does that every day.
Totally,
every TikTok that my daughter makes is basically just using those same
absolutely
production values, but in creativity and ingenuity.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I still love the connection between music and film.
Yeah.
And having a visual. Mm-hmm. Every time I hear Weapon of Choice, I see Christopher Walken.
I mean, I think for me it's the other way.
Which I had no idea of before when I made the record.
Yeah,
that it would always be Christopher Walken.
I have the other way, where I see Christopher Walken in anything, and it reminds me of the video. Yeah, like, you've ruined his acting for me. I'm really sorry, but yeah, his whole career is forgettable now. But no, that sincerely is my favourite music video of all time, because I just think the way in which it captures kind of the joy, as we've talked about, in that song. And it's someone being wholly unmoved, like looking completely out into space, bored, completely fed up, and suddenly the music gradually takes them over to the point where they lose themselves. Yeah. And he ends up flying, and also, and it just captures kind of the transportive quality of music, and I loved it for that. So was that a particular highlight for you, that one, or do you have a favourite of yours?
Well, I mean, in terms of videos I can't take the credit for.
Yeah.
That would be basically I'd worked with Spike on Gangster Tripping and Praise You, and so we were sort of friends. And then one day he just phoned me up and he said, "I'm in the parking lot of a restaurant. I'm having dinner with Christopher Walken. Do you know him?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, he used to be a dancer, and he's dropping all these hints about getting his dancing down on tape while he's still young enough to do it. should we have him tap dancing in your next video? I went, fuck yeah.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
that was it. And that was basically the end of my, me just saying, fuck yeah, I'll pay for it.
You don't say no to that, do you?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, the story wasn't, I'm going to make it, he's, feeling really bored and then the music moves in. It was just like, we're going to have Christopher Walken tap dancing in a video. That's,
Yeah.
And I can't remember, he must have done whatever, his last role, he was a proper psychopath.
Yeah.
And the last person you'd expect to be
was
doing
him,
tap dancing. That was the irony. That it worked for me on that level. And then I was supposed to be the bellhop doing the hoovering at the beginning.
Yeah, because you do cameos in your videos, right? So
on those days it's like, you don't have to be in your video, but you have to do a cameo appearance.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm happy with that.
Cool.
So I was supposed to be doing the bellhop, but Zoe decided to have our first child that weekend, so I had to stay. I couldn't fly out to LA to do it.
Yeah.
But that was just Spike's vision, and
Amazing.
Spike and Christopher did all the choreography and all that.
And
they just sent me the finished thing, and I just approved it.
Yeah, because I think as a consumer of music at that time, and as a fan of yours, your videos became synonymous with your sound, I think. And it was that moment of, there's a new song, what's the video going to be? Because I remember the first one I saw was Right Here, Right Now. And I just thought that was kind of unlike anything I'd seen. And it was really incredibly creative, and like the evolution of man and stuff. And talking about music and video pairing, it gave us this sense of it made it more epic in nature, pairing those visuals to it, didn't it? So do you use, are those the visuals you use on your live sets now, or does it vary, or?
It varies. We've used them at times. They're a bit clunky now. It's kind of funny because this is not only pre-AI, this was pre-CGI.
Yeah.
And it was mainly puppets.
Right, yeah.
It was like puppet things.
Great.
I think the last time I used it, I actually used the puppets.
Right. Amazing.
I've got the original rough before they'd done any of the VFX on it. And it's just like the lizards on a stick.
Amazing.
I do. I think on the big screen, Christopher Walken appears a lot in my live shows. Yeah. Because lots of people have done like pastiches, and they've kind of animated him.
Yeah.
They always send them to me, and I always go, can I use this? So I've got a lot of Christopher Walken. He appears more than the Right Here, Right Now.
Right, fair. Yeah. And you've got the Big Beach coming up again.
Yeah.
Why are those gigs so special to you? I mean, you've talked about it before, but what's different about those gigs?
It's just, it cements my relationship with the city I love.
Yeah.
And probably the time I felt my relationship with the city was like a proper thing was when I did the really big one, and obviously half destroyed the city, half made it famous.
Yeah,
it
and that bit in your book is fascinating as well. I wasn't aware of the full circumstances.
Good or bad. It was like everybody who lives in Brighton will remember that night.
Absolutely,
so that really cemented my. So it's a celebration. 3 years on.
Yeah,
it's a celebration of that night, and by doing it on the beach rather than doing it, we tried doing it at the Amex, and so it's a celebration of humans coming together, but the common purpose was celebrating my relationship with the city that I live in and that I love, and that seems quite proud of me, and so it's a big party to celebrate that relationship. Yeah,
and that's enough to make it special, because talk about connection. Yeah, there's one you can't manufacture there, right? It's completely different kind of connection.
And it's celebrating a night where there was a connection between me and every single person in Brighton.
And 500,000 people.
Well, no, even the people who weren't there.
Yeah,
they all felt. They all had a connection with me. Like I said, good or bad.
The earthquake that was that gig, right? Yeah. It's a really fantastic book, and I'm going to be really encouraging people in the store to check it out. I'd like to highlight to our listeners, if you're local, that Norman popped into the shop and kindly signed a whole bunch of them, so please do come and check it out. And you said before you're really proud of it before we started talking, and I think you have every right to be. It's brilliant.
Well, like I said, it's about the quality of it, because it's a coffee table book. It will be there forever. Yeah. And it's a nice quality, like the print. The other kicker for me was it has to be proper print quality. Totally. It's got to be like coffee table. Yeah. Sometimes you read autobiographies and they have those sort of really cheap,
like inserts. Yeah.
So it had to be that all the photos jump out at you, and so that would be there. I'm proud that we did a good job telling the story.
Yeah.
but I'm also proud that I have a book. I mean, just from the way...
Isn't it amazing?
I was sold when I got the first copy, and I just felt the way. This is a proper book.
Totally, yeah. No, it feels important because it is, do you know what I mean? And not just in Britain, but I think the impact your music has had on all kinds of different music scenes and artistic scenes, like... It's book-worthy, isn't it? You know
well, I would never. Modesty would preclude me from saying that.
I'm happy to tell you this,
but it's not very booky. It's not very wordy.
Yeah.
It's basically a lot of pictures and my words.
But it feels like you in a book, doesn't it?
Well, my words are just an explanation of the pictures rather than delving deep into my psyche and boring you with my my innermost thoughts. Mm-hmm. It's just. This happened and it's been quite fun, and here's what it looked like.
And here's what it looked like. Yeah, and so obviously we get to now. Vaguely, what do you expect the future holds? Are you planning more music, like original music? Are you happy still gigging?
At the moment, I'm really happy gigging, and I'm not that comfortable making music. But so, as you know from the conversation that you just heard, that
I don't know what I heard.
I'm always open. I'm always open to other ideas of things around what I've done, but. Probably, I'll turn 63 next month, and I'm probably, I'm aware I'm in the twilight of my career. It's not over yet, and I've still got a lot to give as a DJ, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think kind of in terms of the body of music, that's kind of done now. I think I'm too old really to contribute anything.
And there's a piece with that. There's not a desire to do more. I'm really happy with the collection.
I'm really happy, but at the same time, the only thing is, just on a technicality, I'm aware that as I get older, I might not be able to go out and do the late nights and travelling and the international time zones. And if I had to come off the road, then I probably would be like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And then that might be driving me back into the studio and maybe want to make more music. But probably, not pop music, Again, like when I was doing the Capital Radio thing, I was aware of that, having kids as well. Having kids where you suddenly think, what can I make that would resonate with you? Nothing.
Yeah,
it's totally. Like my job is to be embarrassing dad. It's not to do something that
can't do both. Interesting.
So I don't think musically I've got much more to give, but culturally and within the realms. But also, I mean, if I just carried on DJing until the day I died, and enjoying those moments of community and connection, that's enough for me.
Absolutely, totally. Yeah. And that's what comes across in your book, is that's what matters to me: community, people, connections, sharing music, bringing people together, and you do it really well. So thank you.
And I thoroughly enjoy doing it. So I can't see any reason to stop.
No, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me in your kitchen of all places. You're very kind, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for being interested.
Thank you. Of course.